Hi, I'm Jonathan Hoover, and we are working on a series of messages at New Spring right now called Desperado, Loving Someone Who's Lost Their Way. And we've invited you to ask questions through social media that I might be able to try to answer during the week. And one of those questions that came in is, suppose I've been in a relationship with an abusive person. And they haven't taken responsibility for their actions. They really haven't changed, but how do I love that person? Well, that's a great question. And the first thing that I would encourage you to do is take a look at 1 Corinthians 13, which is a chapter where the Apostle Paul talks to us about what love is all about. And when you read that chapter, what you'll notice is that what Paul is talking about is a general attitude that we have toward the people in our lives, not just one specific person, but across the board. These are attitudes that we have to check ourselves on to see, am I in line with that? And so 1 Corinthians 13 is a good place to start. But I want to go specifically to kind of what's being asked here, because some people we're going to have to love from a distance. And when we've been in a relationship with an abusive person, especially if they have not taken responsibility, if they aren't making changes, love is going to have to be a bit from a distance. Let me explain why. In romantic relationships especially, but I think this probably applies outside of that, but in romantic relationships especially, there's three levels, right? The first level of the relationship is safety. So at a minimum, a relationship should be safe, right? Physically safe, emotionally safe. I need to feel like I am not constantly anxious about this relationship because this person has mistreated me. And so I have to constantly worry about how are they going to treat me tomorrow and that sort of thing, right? So the next level, so if there is safety in the relationship, the next thing that we work on is intimacy. And intimacy is the extent to which we are close, we are bonded, we're connected, right? In marriage, it looks like deep friendship, right? And you get each other's, private jokes, and you understand each other in a way that nobody else does, and there's this incredibly intense bond. That's the second stage. The third stage, because some couples have safety in the relationship, they have really strong intimacy in the relationship, but it's kind of like, is this all there is? The third stage, right, that people need to work on when they get to that point is legacy, which is, as a couple, what is the mark that we're going to leave on this world? What are we going to do that's making an impact, right? So, and what happens in a lot of relationships is we try to work on intimacy or legacy, and we don't really have safety yet. So when there is a lack of safety, we kind of have to start back at square one and recognize that that's going to be the first thing that has to be built before anything else can be built on top of it. Even if maybe it was a romantic relationship and all it's ever going to be now is friendship, perhaps there's been a divorce because of abuse or something like that, still safety has to be the first thing that's established in a relationship. We can't build on something when the relationship isn't safe. So what about when you're asking the question, how do I love somebody who's not safe? Well, there's three things that we can do from a distance, right? The first thing is we can care about that person. Sometimes we kind of just get to the point where we're like, they could take a flying leap and I wouldn't care because I'm so hurt by this person that I just, I don't care about them at all anymore. And actually true love, the kind of love that God wants us to show, is a love that still cares about a person. It still says, I still care about their well-being. I still care. My heart is still engaged with wanting good things for them. I want them to experience the best. And I know that they may not be on that path, but I keep that hope in my mind that someday good, they'll come back to the right path. And as we talked about last week in Desperado, that while I may not be able to restore what was lost for them, I can always celebrate when they do come to their senses and make the right choice, right? So caring is one thing. I care about them as a person, right? The second thing is prayer, right? So I pray for them because at this point, I really cannot be their coach. I can't be their counselor. I can't be their romantic partner. There are a lot of roles that I cannot play for them right now because they're not a safe person. And yet the role I can play is I can play the role of what we would call in church an intercessor. I can play the role of someone who goes to the Lord on their behalf and prays for them, right? And then the third thing is I need to be aware, right? So I need to be aware of the risks of getting too close to a person who's an abuser, right? So I care about them, right? I pray for them, but I'm also aware of their potential negative impact on me, my family, my kids, all those sorts of things. So that is how you love someone from a distance. Care, prayer, be aware. and always know that there is room for a person who's a desperado to come home to the Lord, but it has to be their idea. I cannot somehow force them to make the right choice. So I have to leave that to God. And in the meantime, I need to make the safe choice about how I choose to express love and choose to try to show God's love. Hope this has been helpful. I'll see you in the next short video.